Posse. Hello, all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for coming over for my chit chat today. We're going to just kind of sit down and chit chat about and growing older. And I was going to actually do my thumbnail called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but I didn't want to get a copyright by what's his name, Clint Eastwood, for stealing his title. And then I thought, well, there really isn't anything ugly about growing old, but for the sake of humor, we're going to call this The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, because as we grow older, we notice some good changes and some not so good changes. So I hope you stick around and have some laughs with me. And I have coffee and tea, and Bella made chocolate chip cookies. And I've got Joe here. Hi, Joe. Joe the bartender's here. Yeah, he's going to fix you a cocktail if you would so like. He's got everything that he needs. So whatever your flavor, come on in and let's just have some laughs and let's talk about this aging process. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of breaking it down the other day. I was kind of like laughing myself with my husband. I thought, you know, it's like there's so much good about growing older. It's not really all that bad. And I mean, the first thing, of course, you're alive. Hello, you wake up every day and you go, oh, thank you, dear Lord, for allowing me to have another day. So that's a privilege denied by many. So that's just a great thing to think about when you're growing old gracefully, because you wake up every day and you get to enjoy a new day. You don't know what that day is going to bring. You don't know, you're hoping that it's going to bring happiness and pleasure, but you know, we don't know. But we wake up and we're alive, and that's like amazing to me. I thank God every morning for, you know, waking me up, and my husband and I push him and make sure he's awake and he's up, and we start our day, and it's all just good. And I think that's a really important thing about growing older, that you're here, you're alive, and ready to face the new day. And the other thing, of course, wonderful about growing older when you hit 62 or 65 is that you get to retire. I mean, hello. I mean, you've worked all your life. Oh my gosh, you had to pay for babysitters if your kids were little. You're running around to football, you're running around to this, you're running one kid one direction, one kid another direction, and then you get the ripe old age of 62 when you can collect your Medicare if you want to, your Social Security. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but you can. Statistics have shown that if you collect it at 65, or if you wait to 60 or 62, or you wait till 65 or 67, I don't know how they did it, but you make more when you're 65 or 67, but when you collect it at 62, you don't make it as much. But when you figure it out all in the long run, some balances out to be pretty much close to it all anyway. So why not take it and enjoy it when you're younger if you need to? And you can make, you know, when you retire at 62, you can only make so much money a year, but after I think you're 65, they might have just raised it to 66, you can make as much money as you want and still collect your Medicare and your Social Security, and not be penalized for it. I unfortunately collected mine and didn't realize that, and I worked, and I was making really good money, but I was collecting my Social Security, and then all of a sudden they just stopped my Social Security and said, hey, yeah, you know, you worked a lot of hours and you've made a lot of money. We're going to take that back. And I was like, what? So they did. They took it all back. They stopped my Social Security until I paid all that money back to them. So you got to watch. You got to be strategic about it. And if you hear noise, my husband's building the bathroom in the basement, and you hear any squeaking, that's him moving stuff. But anyway, so yeah, you got to be careful when you collect it, but you can collect it, and I think it's just an amazing thing. I mean, some people call it our entitlement checks, and my husband gets very upset about that word entitlement, because we're not entitled, it's our money. They took it out of our pay, so it's our money. So we get to enjoy it early, and you can still work. So that's kind of a good thing. I mean, I just it's not free money, but you know, if you have other income too, it's like a decent chunk of change that we've earned all our lives and they put away for us and that we can collect. So you can do that at 62, 63, 65, 67, whatever you're comfortable with. So that's another good thing about retiring and being older. I think it's exciting. When I get my once a month check, it's like bonus. It goes fast though, unfortunately, but that's a good thing. You have less stress. You don't have to worry about pleasing your boss. Back in the work days, how you worked and you always had to please your boss and your coworkers, and some you liked, some you didn't like, but you always had to put on that smile and act like you like everybody. You don't have to do that anymore. You just don't have to. I mean, some of us didn't have such great bosses, but we had to be nice, So now we're older, we have to still be nice. I don't want to come across as saying, well, now we can be, lousy people and not be kind, because that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying is, you had all that stress, that you had to take because you had that job and you had to work, you had to support your kids. And it was a lot of stress that we don't have to worry about today so much. So that's a good thing. And we have more freedom now to kind of come and go as we please. If we want to go out in the morning, my husband and I get up for breakfast, we go to breakfast, we go shopping, we just lollybog around the city, and we just have that freedom now. We can come and go as we please. We can go places if we want. If we don't want to, we can take naps. I mean, it's like our time has come, and to be older, to be able to enjoy that is an amazing thing. And even if you're in a position where maybe you can't get out, you can still enjoy things. You can call DoorDash and have them bring you lunch, and you can set yourself up with watching your favorite TV show on TV, have DoorDash bring you your food if you don't feel like cooking, and you can sit there and have a nice little cozy meal, even if it's by yourself, or have a girlfriend over if you want to, and just sit and enjoy DoorDash with if it's a guy friend, you can have a little candle. And if it's a girlfriend, you can have a glass of wine, or both, you can do with both. So it's kind of a freedom that it's just a relaxing time of life if you allow yourself to relax and enjoy those little things that you never thought possible when you were running around with bosses and running around with jobs and driving your kids here and there. It's kind of a chill out time that we can do. And it's just a great time to enjoy, I think. Another good thing about when you're older is you don't have to be so skinny like you were in school, or like when you were worked out and you had to be so svelte. And it's kind of nice when you're older, because I find that if I hold on to some weight, I look better, I look younger. You start losing a lot of weight when you're a certain age, and the first place you notice is your face, and you're gonna sag, your face is gonna sag. So you really need to maintain a little bit more weight when you're older to fill out your wrinkles, to fill out your face. I mean, of course you don't want to gain a lot of weight where it's unhealthy, but you don't want to think about yourself as being like that teenager or that young girl that you used to have, that svelte body, because you wouldn't look good with that svelte body now. You would look older. You would look much older if you were the weight now that you were in school or in high school, or when you were younger or before your kids. You wouldn't look as good as you did then, because our skin sags. I mean, we just don't. I know I hit a certain level of my weight, and if I go right now, my weight is, I could probably come down like 5 pounds maybe, but that is all, because I have dropped below that, and I just look haggy. Can I say that, Mary Reed? But you do. It doesn't look good. So the good part about when you're older is you can maintain a little bit more weight. That's a great gift, I think. That's a really great gift. And it's nice now today because we should live in the moment. We don't have to worry. We shouldn't think about the past. We shouldn't worry about what happened back in the past. You can learn to every day wake up and live in the moment. And I tell this to my husband all the time, because he's had some health issues again, which he's fine, by the way. We're gonna we're going to do a little update with him. But he just seemed, and he never was the kind of person to worry. And I said, listen, you know, you're 76 years old. You have come through all these. I mean, he had cancer, he had COVID, he's in AFib. I mean, now he's in congestive heart failure. And, you know, there were some days when he was just like so nervous about tomorrow. And I said, don't worry about tomorrow. If you worry about tomorrow, you're going to mess up your whole day today. You got to think today. You got up, God let you up, you're alive, we're going to go out, we're going to have fun. Because if you worry about your conditions and what you have, and you're worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, you are going to totally miss the show of today. So he used to always tell me that, and now it's the reversal, and now I have to preach it to him. So he's much, much better, because we just have to live for today. Enjoy our 2 days. The sun is up. Well, my ring light's up, but the sun is up. You find things to do. You can relax. You know, you're not under anybody's watch. You're on your own time. It's your own life. You can do whatever you want to do, but enjoy it when you do it. It's today. So then you get into what's the bad part about growing older? Well, you know, kind of like you can't do what you used to do. You can't bend like you used to bend. You can't, you know, you've fallen and you literally can't get up. I mean, I went to the basketball game with my granddaughter. This was like last year, and there were no seats. So my husband and I go, we'll just sit on the floor. Yeah, let's go plop on the floor. So we sat on the floor for her basketball game, and then we couldn't get up. We were like looking at each other like a deer in headlights, because we were stuck on the floor. And it's like, what, your body feels like it weighs 300 pounds. You can't get up like you used to. I'm like, what is this? And we're like holding onto the wall and crawling up the wall. I said, you get up first and then you can help me up. So he's climbing up the wall, and I mean, it's like embarrassing, but you know, I let him pick me up, and then I just jump up like perky, like, hi everybody, you know. But yeah, when you're down, you really, it's hard to get up. So that's like a little thing that comes with aging. Your body doesn't move as quick. Your muscles are a little sore. You can't bend and get up so much. So you just have to accept those things. You don't want to say, poor me if you can't. You just you accept those things. You can't bend like you used to. You can't do things like you used to. I can't come up and down the steps as fast as I used to without panting, and that's okay, you know, but I'm here. I was able to go down. I came up slower, but you know, it's a change that you just get used to, and it's okay. It's fine. And then, of course, as you get older, you know, you do lose your hair. You know, sometimes our hair gets thinner. I know when I was sick last year, I lost a lot of my hair, and it's, you know, it's come back. But, you know, sometimes, you know, your hair gets thinner, and then it pops up in crazy places, like, you know, you find Elmer on your chest, or your leg hairs grow more, or you get a mustache, or you got these nostril hairs hanging that you never had, or maybe you had a mole here or someplace, and all of a sudden it just took a life of its own with a curly hair. I think I told you that time I had this little mole on my neck that I've had forever. Well, all of a sudden it decided to grow its own hair. And we were out at a banquet a couple years ago now, it was, at my grandson's football game. And I mean, we went through the whole banquet, and at the end of the banquet, my husband turns around and he goes, so when are you going to pluck that hair that's on your neck? And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you got this great big long curly hair. I mean, I said, are you kidding me? You wait till the end of the night to tell me this? And I look, and out of this mole, and I can't see it with my eyes, I had this long, curly, long hair that was dark and yet half gray. Well, who can see it? I was like, oh my gosh, you're just telling me that now? So yeah, you know, we, of course, tried to pluck it out, but the rest of the night I was like, oh, hi, yeah, no, I'm good, yeah, yeah, I was so mad at him. I said, did you notice it all night? He goes, well, yeah. And I'm like, seriously, Denny? So, you know, we get hairs in various parts, you know, that we never had before. It goes with the territory. That's why they have razors. They have all these gadgets now that we can we can get rid of all that stuff. So that's a good thing. So never fret over that. And if you lose your hair, you know, you always got wigs. You know, it's not like the days when your hair was thin. And if you're suffering from any thin hair, gosh, check out my videos. Check out a lot of videos that are on here that show you how to wear wigs, because you don't have to worry about thinning hair. I mean, last year, even when my hair was falling out from COVID, I mean, the normal person might have panicked, but I didn't panic because I knew I had my wig, so it really didn't bother me. So, I mean, you don't walk around insecure because you have thin hair. You can buy wigs that make you feel and look fabulous. But, you know, when you're older, it just, it goes with the territory. Your hair gets thin for various reasons. Some is medically, from medical issues, and some is just, you know, alopecia that you might have. Some people lose their hair on stress, and whatever the reason is, you don't have to feel insecure about it. You can replace it with a beautiful wig. I had a subscriber email me and said that actually her words were like, "I feel like a freak with a wig on," and I was like, "How could you feel like a freak with a wig on?" I mean, they're like the most comfortable, and you know, you may feel a little uncomfortable with them at first if they're new to you and a foreign thing on your head, but no different than if you'd put on a hat, right? But I said, "Oh my goodness," you know, so I helped her order a wig, and she ordered it, and she did get it, and she got a light one, weight one, because that was the best thing to try, and she loves them now. Now she's like on a wig buying kick. But you know, you just have to get used to stuff, and it'll help you feel more secure about the issues that come with aging, for sure. And of course, when we're older, we shrink. I don't know what that is and why we shrink. I mean, I know what it is. It's the osteoporosis and the spine shrinks. But I have always been 5'6", 5'5.5", 5'6", you know. And when I joined Weight Watchers years ago, I was 5'5 3/4", and so I was, you know, pretty. I was the tallest one in my family. I always said that if my mom and dad were alive and they saw how short I was now compared to my grandkids, they would go, "No way." Because they used to always say to me, "I don't know, Babs, where you got that tall gene from. You're so tall. Everybody in the family is so short." And they were. I mean, they're like 5 foot. My grandma was 4'8". You know, I mean, I was 5'5.5" when I was 10 years old, and probably 50 pounds heavier than I am now. So I was like a little dumpling, a tall dumpling. And so I just maintained it. And now I measured at the doctor's office and I was 5'2 3/4. And it's like, really, I look like a shrimp, because my grandkids, well, my daughter's 5'10", so she got some height there. My boys are close to 6 foot. They might have been 6 foot. They are 6 foot. My daughter, I said my daughter, but my grandkids are super tall. My Hayden is 14 years old, and he's 6'2" 1/4. We measured him, and my Bella is 5'7", so she's towering me. So I'm the shrimp. I'm the one that's in the front of the line when we take a picture, and I don't have to bend, because it's just. And Hayden gets the biggest kick out of it because he can practically eat off my head. So that's another issue when we're older, that, you know, we shrink, but you know, we just stand a little taller and wear the shoulder pads, because they make you. I don't have any on today, but I love my shoulder pads that kind of make you come out this way a little bit, and it kind of makes you stand a little taller, and you know, you suck in a little bit more and wear a little higher shoe if you can. But it is what it is. There's, you know, if you're short, you're short. But you do shrink. You do shrink when you're older. I don't know, but you do. Men don't so much. I mean, my Denny is, you know, just about 6 foot. He's about 5'11", and he still measures 5'11". But us women, I don't know. We just we seem to shrink more. I don't know what that is, but we do. And I think the other thing that when you're older, it's the topic of conversation. It seems to be gas and constipation. I don't know, but everybody you talk to, I think I remember telling you the story about my next door neighbor when I was growing up. I was like 12, and her name was Mrs. Pontel. I can say that because she's long gone, but no offense to any Pontels out there. But I remember my mom, we would always walk down towards our street. We had like a highway down there that had federal department stores and Kresge's and Hague shoe stores were all the popular shoe stores, and her and I would walk down to, it was called Verner Highway then, down to the strip mall down there. And I remember coming home when I was 12, and she would say, whatever you do. And Mrs. Pontel was older woman. I think when I was growing up, she was probably in her late 60s back then, maybe. And my mom would say, whatever you do, don't say, how are you? Don't ever say those words to her, because you'll be here 20 minutes about her constipation and her bowel movements. And I would be like, so I coming home one day, we were like, she stopped us outside and she goes, hi Marge, hi Babs, how are you? And we go, I said, I'm good, Mrs. Pontel, how are you? My mom grabbed me, she pinched me like this. And she's like, no. And it was literally 20 minutes of, well, I tried this new laxative and, boy, I'm so constipated. And I'm like, and my mom going, I told you not to say anything. You never say to her how you are, because it's 20 minutes of her constipation. And we laughed about it. But as we get older, Denny and I some days will have this 15-minute conversation about, did your Metamucil work for you today? Did you take your Miralax last night? You want to try some Ducalox? He says, I feel like bound up. And I'm like, God, yeah, I don't know. I think I do too. And he says to me one day, he says, is this where we have come? That our conversations over coffee are about what laxative we took last night? He goes, this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. So that's kind of like the bad thing, I suppose, about aging. That's your conversation. And of course, you're planning you're thinking more about burial plans, I think, when you're older than going to Disneyland. It's that kind of a conversation that you have to think about when you're older that we never thought about when we were younger, but it's something that you have to do, and you have to do it. We can still go to Disney World, but we have to have a plan for that later trip that we're going to take. Just get it all together. It's like no big deal. It's part of the aging process. And I think the fearful thing when we're growing older, which I always say is the good, the bad, and the ugly, but it really isn't, is, your looks fade when you're older. You maybe look at your school pictures and you look at yourself now and you don't even look like the same person. But, that's why we're here, to help you be the best version of yourself, because just because you don't look the same as you did in high school, you can be the better version of who you are. No matter what your looks are today, you can fix yourself up, you can take care of your canvas. And I often think to myself, these movie stars who were so beautiful in their day, and some of them did not age gracefully, but the ones that didn't have anything done look so much better than the ones that have had so much surgery. I would never have anything done facelift wise to alter my actual features. I don't think I'm not against Botox or fillers of any kind. I don't think that that's a massive thing to do, but when you start deforming yourself and picking yourself up, then I think your looks fade worse. I think that's the part that you need to gracefully do, is let the aging process happen, not so much with that knob on top that you keep turning and everything keeps going up, because after a while it doesn't look so good. I think I have a funny picture here I'm going to drop in. This is how you'd look if you had all this surgery done when you're older. I just think that picture is so funny because it's so true. Everybody's injecting and doing all these things and having all these facelifts. And when you're older, it's not a pretty sight. You look much better to not do anything to yourself and take care of your canvas and fix yourself up and do pretty makeup and do nice wigs, and you're just much better off. And it'd help you gracefully come away from that fading youth that you think you lost, that you can still maintain. So that's kind of a bad thing that some people go through, because some people get really upset about their looks when they fade. But I never did. I just always worked with what I had and applied my makeup and my skincare with what I had, and I never thought about, oh my gosh, my looks are fading. I just took each day as it came and fixed with what I had. I took care of it. So, but it is a big deal to a lot of people when your looks fade. It is, but you shouldn't really worry about it. And I said, beauty's from the inside, but I know looks are also important. But you can fix them yourself and be the best version of yourself by just maintaining a good skin regimen and eating well, and you won't think about it so much. Then you have the loss of teeth when you're older. We have the whole snaggle tooth. I just went through the whole dentist and lost these teeth over on the side, and trying to get this tooth in here to fill this hole. I haven't had trouble with my teeth for years, and then all of a sudden, since I was sick last year, my teeth started to go, and they've been capped for years, and then the teeth under. I mean, it was just a mess. I love my dentist. Don't get me wrong, and nothing on the dentists out there, but they're not my favorite place to go. I mean, sitting in a dentist's office, just the smell alone, I can't stand. But I mean, we did the best we could. He had to cut it out, and we had to find this replacement. And I've had this temporary thing in there that was supposed to be a permanent thing, and I was just on here just lisping, and I couldn't talk because it was just lisping, and I'm like, this is awful. I think it was just awful. So he finally came up with a contraption. I said, you got to come up with something better than this, because I can't eat, I can't talk, I have to do videos, I can't be lisping like this. So he found had his lab make this tooth that was able to be put in there, and now at least I don't lisp. But I think losing your teeth when you're older, if you didn't take care of them when you're young, or you have to get used to dentures, to some people that's a really hard transition. But it is what it is. At least they have teeth now that are beautiful that you can't even tell. So, but losing your teeth is one. So I think fading your looks, losing your teeth is probably the worst, maybe, that you can do. But you can always fix them. But it's just part of life. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly, but not so good. But fixable. I mean, it's all fixable. So that's a good thing, I guess. So I guess, we just have to take our good things and bring them to the forefront, and remember all the good qualities we have. And yeah, maybe we don't look like we did in high school, but we're still the same person inside. Inside of all of us is our high school girl, and is somebody that's youthful and energetic and happy and positive. And we got to hold on to that and bring that all into the forefront. All the other stuff, the hair loss, the losing of the teeth, the fading of the looks, the flabbiness on the skin. What happened to my thighs? My mother used to tell me that my dimples on my thighs were just cute little dimples, and I used to walk around as a kid thinking, how cute, I have these cute little dimples in my thighs. I'm just so cute. And then I got older, and somebody told me that I had cellulite. I didn't even know what cellulite was. They told me it was fat cells. And I went home and I was crying to my mother. I said, you've been telling me all these years that I had cute little dimples, and they're telling me they're fat cells. And she's, well, they're called, cellulite, and they are kind of fat cells. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, I was the one that went to the beach with pantyhose on. I was so embarrassed after that of my cellulite, but it is what it is. Now I don't care. I mean, I don't wear short shorts, and if I wear a bathing suit, I mean, for years I was embarrassed to wear a bathing suit, and now it is what it is. And I think when you're older too, you just get that attitude where, like, you should anyway, have that attitude where, like, oh, I don't care. You're not out, waiting for a movie producer to discover you. You're just out enjoying life, and you can't worry about the little fat cells. You can still call them dimples. You just have to enjoy it, embrace it. It is what it is. What are you going to do? I mean, you can probably suck them out with liposuction, but who wants to go through that? Not me. I don't want to go through that stuff. So you can, embrace your good qualities, embrace your positiveness, embrace the fact that you can buy hair pieces, wigs, you can do great makeup, you can fix yourself, you're alive, you can go to the store, you can buy new foundation, you can be the best version of yourself. And that's a positiveness. The best thing about aging is, you are on your own time. You don't have to be kind to people that you don't want to be kind to if they've hurt you in the past. I mean, you don't have to be mean to them, but you don't have to, you don't have to just kowtow to everybody that you used to. You're much more in a much more you should be relaxed state than you were when you were younger. So there's so many benefits of aging and so many wonderful qualities of freedom that you have now, despite, your little hang-ups that come with it. Just so much more to enjoy as we age. And there's some things that you can't change. And I love the little prayer that says, God grant me this serenity. I'm going to read this because I always screw it up. I don't know why. God grant me this serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That was one of my son's favorite sayings. I had it made for him by a lady that did calligraphy for his room, and he just loves that. And you say to yourself, well, what exactly does that serenity prayer mean? And it means letting go of situations beyond our control. You've got to let go of those situations that are beyond our control, like cellulite, like losing your teeth, like your boobs dropping to your waist and becoming love handles, like those just crazy things that go on as you're aging. They're out of your control. You can't change them. You just gotta accept them and accept the person that you are. And then taking action towards things in our control, it also means being able to know when things are within our control and when things are way beyond our control. So we have to take actions with the things that are in our control. And what is in our control is, hey, I may have wrinkles, but hey, I can do something about that. I don't have to look like this. And yeah, my hair is falling out and I'm embarrassed to go out, but I don't have to. I can control that. I can buy a wig. I can use Barb's discount code for the wig company and go get myself a wig. I mean, those are things that you can control, that you can help yourself with. Those are the serenity prayer, that where you can take charge of the things that you have control over. I mean, losing your teeth, losing your hair, sagging skin, those kind of things, you don't have any control over that. So those kind of things you can mask and you can hide behind clothes and nobody would know but you, and that's just fine. You just have to, I guess, know the difference, which is what the serenity prayer says. You have to know the difference about what's in control and what's not in control. And when you figure out the different, what's in your control, what's not in your control, then you've got it licked. I mean, there's some things that's health-wise that you really can't control. You can control how you think about them mentally. You can control, okay, I don't feel good. I'm going to succumb to my bed today because I'm just poor me. You can control those emotions. You can control those feelings. Those are controllable. How your body is, if you have a sickness, like my husband has, some of these chronic conditions, he can't control what he has, but he can control how he thinks about what he has. Because if you don't take control of how you think about them, then those conditions become worse on your body and worse on your mind. So you have to know the difference between what's controllable and what's not controllable, what you can fix and what you can't fix, and go with it. That's my thought. Maybe there's something that you want to do in life. I mean, as we're aging, I don't want you to ever think like, oh, I'm too old to do this. And I get people that'll email me and say, oh, your skin is so nice, but I'm beyond that. I'm too old to worry about my skin. And I want to go, oh my gosh, you're never, ever too old. I mean, if you didn't take care of your things, or if you didn't hit your goals when you're in your 30s, then you've got your 40s. If you didn't do something for yourself in your 40s, you can do it in your 50s. If you didn't do it in your 50s, you can do it in your 60s. If you didn't do it in your 70s, you can do it in your 70s and 80s and 90s. It's never too late to set goals for yourself because you are aging. I mean, we talked about all the fun things and the funny things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the good, the bad, and the fearful. But the bottom line is, girls, take control of the things that you can. And if you haven't succeeded in what you want to do, don't ever think it's too late. I mean, there are people, who was it? It was Grandma Moses, who was in her 80s before she became a painter. I mean, in her 80s. So, and you know Grandma Moses. So, you know, pick up a pencil, pick up something, do something. I mean, you'll find something to do. And I know a lot of people are housebound, and, you know, there's a lot of things going on in this world. Enough to worry about today. The news is just blows your mind. We don't want to think about all this stuff that's going on today that's, again, out of our control, and they keep announcing it and announcing it and announcing it on a daily basis, and we feel like maybe we need to just, you know, go in the closet and close the door and hibernate. You know, you got to just take control of the situation today. You can't change what's happening in the world, but you can be a better person. You can be a nicer person. There's a lot of people out there that aren't very nice today because they're aggravated, and they're stressed, and they're mad, and the way of the world is, the situations are, they're mad. People are mad about it, and they're taking it out on other people, and that's an awful way to be. The madder you are, the more you should try to come above that and control that and be kinder. You may try to be kind to a person and they don't want to be kind to you, and that's on them, but you're going to feel better about being kinder to that person. So if I had to leave you with anything today, I would say grow old gracefully, accept all the flaws that are coming out, accept the fact that, you know, things are going to change, your body is changing, things happen, but you know what? You're alive. God gave you another day. And I said it in so many videos, and I will say it again. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is unknown. Today is the present. So enjoy it like a present from God. It is a day to be praised. It is a day to love. It is another day to hug your grandkids, to tell your partner that you love them, to call somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, make you feel good. Maybe it's something, you know, tomorrow is never promised, and I say this all the time, and you all know that I've been through a lot, losing my son, and I'm so grateful that I got to spend a week with him before that. And so I want the same for you. I want you to reach out to somebody and just be the better person, whether you've had an argument, whether, you know, there's issues in the family, and oh my gosh, we all know about issues in the family, but be the better person and try to reach out to somebody, because you know what? You'll feel better about yourself, and this is what you have to worry about right here. This space is your space. You can't worry about this space out here. You worry about you and how you are going to react to people, how people are going to react to you. Wear a smile and be happy and age gracefully, girls. I mean, primp. I mean, you know, I consider myself aging gracefully, but I primp every day. And I put a wig on every day, and I'm in front of my ring light, which I hope is okay. And I'm not too bright. I'm glowing. So I love you guys. Thanks for coming in and chatting with me. And I hope Joe, did you get everybody? Oh, who? Sheila? Oh, she's drinking all the vodka? That's Sheila, I'm telling you. Who else? Oh, Mary. Oh, Mary's she's drinking iced tea. Don't let her fool you. Just because she's dancing up there on the stool don't mean nothing. I'm telling you. Just enjoy yourselves, girls. Yeah, I'll be in there in a minute. Yeah. So, I love you. Thanks for coming over today and just having some fun and chit-chat about this body. And remember, it's your body. Take control. I love you guys. See you next video. Bye.